Alright, here we go. This is a custom 1v1 on Duel between the green player in the upper left-hand corner, Lauh. I think it's Lauh. I'm going to go with lauh134 in the Medic Osprey, and his opponent, the blue player in the bottom right-hand corner, SonicAndRose in the Black Ops Helix. If you do take a look at the loadouts, Lauh is going pretty much standard roller Bucky Osprey meta here, with levelers actually, in fact, so he will be a little bit credit shy in the early game especially, but let's see how many levelers he decides to put out. He is putting out 4. That is pretty much standard nowadays, especially because moneymakers have been nerfed. Levelers have been semi-buffed because their power was, their upkeep was decreased. SonicAndRose does not have Buckies in his loadout, so we are having a pretty much normal Bucky versus not Bucky game here. I don't know if you can call that normal, but it's kind of meta loadout versus more of a standard, everyday, classical loadout. He does have Dillos, which was pretty much the Dillo spam meta. Was actually pretty interesting because all you have to do is keep hitting the Dillo button. It's kind of like Bucky spam, but Bucky spam I think is a little bit worse, just because it is much easier. You can micro them much better. They're cheaper. I think they're still cheaper, right? They're still cheaper, yeah. I can't keep track of all the changes every single time. It's a little bit difficult, guys. I know there's a lot of changes, and if you can keep track of all the changes, then, well, you are one of those AirMech pros or high-level players or fanatics that keep track of the forums every single day. I mean, I try to keep track of the forums every single day as well. Lauh kind of mis-microing there, putting the Bucky on the bunker instead of the creep there. But yeah, I do my best to try to keep track of the forums every single day, try to keep track of the changes. But, I've been a little bit more busy recently. As you guys have noticed, I've been releasing slightly less videos than I typically have been in the past. But I will do my best to try to keep the games, consistently releasing and keep that AirMech action out there for you guys. But right now we do have Lauh moving up with some Buckies, pretty much exactly how you do it. SonicAndRose going kind of like old school artillery, artillery meta, putting them pretty much on the classic spots here on Duel, right at the socket, and within range to kill those neutrals. And Lauh not going to be able to finish off SonicAndRose all the way back to his outpost. So Sonic now coming out with even more artillery. The one thing that Lauh is not doing that you might see in a typical game, I mean, kind of independent, sort of independent of the meta level at this point, at the stage of meta, is just bomb. He does have pumpkin bombs in his loadout, but those artillery are not getting bombed and probably won't get bombed anytime soon unless Lauh actually is able to take that middle outpost. And now just sending Buckies kind of left and right, sort of throwing them away. I don't really know how productive this is going to be. He will be able to push up on mid. Hopefully he has enough units to. He doesn't have any creeps or anything like that in his cargo. He doesn't have any infantry in his build queue. He doesn't actually have any infantry in his loadout. SonicAndRose finally coming back to the fight after defending against that. Those Bucky sent, that one Bucky sent and the Bucky drops at the close. SonicAndRose now coming up with even more artillery, so it will be a little bit difficult for Lauh to move up. However, he does have Buckies, so if he can micro them fast enough, keep him healed up with his Osprey. Oh, but getting finished off there by Sonic in the air. So let's see what Sonic does. I'm assuming he's just going to continually place more artillery. He needs to place them outside of the Bucky range, but within the archery range, it will be a little bit tricky to do that, especially on this map. Now Lauh already is back, and this outpost has gone up to green. Let's see if he can actually start to ferry some stuff over. He really should get rid of those heavy mines. He needs to just drop and land just in case, because they can be used against you if you have poor positioning of your Buckies. SonicAndRose almost was able to do that, but he was too low on health to actually land and do anything. Now he has disarmed those mines. He can do that just by dropping down and landing on it and then walking away, or just by dropping the Bucky and taking it back up, because the heavy mine trigger time, I think that's officially called the trigger time, and now SonicAndRose getting Lauh one more time in the air. But yes, the Bucky trigger, or the heavy mine trigger time, now SonicAndRose going for an outpost attack with that Jackal. But the heavy mine trigger time, it's taking me quite a long time to say. That is quite long, so you do have enough time to drop a unit and pick it back up again, and the heavy mine will not injure it if you have good timing. Now Lauh dropping 3 Buckies in defense to get that one Jackal. Needs to really pick at least 2 of them back up so he can bring them to the fight. SonicAndRose trying to neutralize this outpost, but the a neutral outpost is not damageable by a mech unless you are a bomber. So he did start to turn and fire his missiles at those at the Buckies on the side, but not really with very good time. He didn't really get to do that. But now Lauh does have a bunch of bombs in his queue. As you can see, his power is drained. Just spamming that build button for bombs. Those artillery. Oh man, I don't know about that drop there. He was able to kill one artillery, and now starting to bring up some creeps for this middle outpost, and once he does, he will start to bomb as fast as he possibly can, queuing up as many bombs as he can, as fast as he possibly can. Kills another artillery, will be able to kill another artillery if SonicAndRose, SonicAndRose not saving these artillery in time. He really, I mean, he already has seen that Lao has been bombing. He really needs to just kind of keep track of where Lao is and try to swoop in with his own mech and pick up those units before Lao is able to actually hit it. Now Lao is actually winning the fight. It's 80 to 72 in terms of upkeep right now, and SonicAndRose is losing quite a lot of units, is picking up and healing them pretty well. This Helix is obviously not as good as the Osprey healing it up units, because you do have to heal them up just by picking them up and healing them at an outpost, but they are lasting quite a long time. These bombs are actually doing quite a lot of havoc. And Lao is just killing unit after unit after unit. It's probably pretty cost effective, as the bomb now has been changed for a while now. Oh, and now Lao, interestingly enough, already starting to decide to go out with a push, but going way ahead here with those Buckies, and SonicAndRose will be able to defend against this. He might get his outpost neutralized, but I don't see him taking this anytime soon. This is probably going to be a net loss for Lao. Sonic will be able to fire in with his rockets and dropping quite a lot of jackals for both meat shield purposes and for a little bit of damage. Let's see if Lao brings some infantry to actually take this. He really needs to grab some creeps. Those creeps are right there. Lao really needs to grab those creeps, take this outpost. He has enough Buckies. He would have been able to heal them up. However, he doesn't have any defensive infantry, so SonicAndRose might have been able to neutralize it, but I mean, at that point he had so many Buckies. Look at all the Buckies that are down here. Lao has left nothing at mid, which is why SonicAndRose is already deciding to push out. He will be able to grab it. Now comes with some infantry, but he will lose that middle outpost, and he really needs to start healing up some units. Oh, and decides to try to not waste the bomb, but might get finished off here. No, does not. But SonicAndRose does have this train of Dillos and Seekers here. He did not set them to capture. He set them on attack, so they are going for Lao's fort, and Lao is not deciding to counter base race. I don't know if Lao's actually realized this. It's definitely on his mini-map now, but now Lao definitely has to send. He really needs to just drop. SonicAndRose has too many Dillos at the front door. I think Lao is coming back to defend, trying to put some Buckies in defense, but Buckies are horrible at being walls. Those Dillos are just going to rip them to shreds. Lao does have quite a lot of Buckies there at the front door, so they are pelting them with missiles, but SonicAndRose has too many Dillos here, and I never saw a single roller from Lao, so we didn't really get to see the normal Osprey Bucky roller play there by Lao. Just too many Buckies down. He pretty much had control of the entire, of the game. He didn't really need to send as many Buckies as he did to take this close. Oh, now the map control has been taken away from me. Yippee. But yes, after that push, SonicAndRose realized that there was nothing at that mid, nothing really defending. I guess interesting enough, Lao just decided to kind of sit and decided to leapfrog. Didn't really realize that units were being pushed toward his fort. Didn't really see that on his minimap, and SonicAndRose was able to get a lot of Dillos, and Seekers were kind of irrelevant, but a lot of Dillos to Lao's front door, and those Buckies were horrible at blocking. Those Dillos just ripped them to shreds and finished off the entire fort health from Lao. So guys, that was pretty interesting. If you have any interesting games to send to me, if you spectate any interesting games, send them into ruizurich@gmail.com or RUI on Steam. You can give me a message there. If you don't know how to set up replays, click my video description. That one link that says send me replays. It does have a short explanation on how to set up replays. It's pretty much run fedcomps batch file, and then get AMAna to sort through all your replays. And otherwise, if you need some help, just ask on the forums, ask on global chat, or message me on Steam. So once again, guys, this is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.